There's a certain kind of man who doesn't crave the noise of the crowd. He doesn't feel the rush to be seen, to be noticed, or to fit in. He finds peace not in chaos, but in calm. When others run to parties, he runs toward silence. When the world feels loud, he finds his rhythm in stillness. People call him antisocial. Some think he's strange. But he knows something most people don't, that solitude is not emptiness. It's energy, refined. Think about it. When you're at home, alone, surrounded by quiet, that's when you finally hear your own thoughts. The world is full of voices, opinions, distractions, and pressure. But in your space, with just your breath and your thoughts, you begin to rediscover who you are. The man who enjoys staying at home isn't avoiding the world. He's learning to live on his own terms. He understands that peace is not found in distance, it's found in depth. While others chase temporary highs, he builds inner strength, quietly, patiently, alone. There's a strange power in being comfortable by yourself. It's not loneliness, it's mastery. The kind of mastery that only comes when you stop depending on noise to feel alive. You see, most people fear silence because silence exposes truth. It shows you who you really are. When you sit with yourself, there's nowhere to hide. No excuses, no masks, no filters, just you, raw and real. And that's why many can't do it. They need the world to distract them from their own emptiness. But the one who stays at home has learned that facing himself is the only way to grow. At home, time slows down. You notice the little things, the sound of rain on the window, the warmth of sunlight across the floor, the smell of your coffee as it fills the room. These simple moments are where real life hides. They teach you gratitude. They remind you that peace doesn't come from what you own, but from how you see. People who enjoy staying at home tend to notice life's small details, and in those details, they find joy others overlook. Their world isn't boring, it's just quieter, more meaningful, more honest. Psychologically, such people often have rich inner worlds. They think deeply, reflect constantly, and feel emotions with intensity. Their minds are like oceans, calm on the surface, powerful underneath. They don't need to talk to understand. They observe, they listen. They absorb energy around them and process it slowly. While the world rushes, they reflect. They have an invisible strength, one that grows when no one's watching. This makes them harder to manipulate, harder to influence, harder to break. You can't easily shake someone who's built comfort in his own company. There's also something spiritual about it. When you're home, you reconnect, not just with yourself, but with something higher. You begin to notice how the mind shifts when the body rests, how clarity rises when distractions fall. You might pick up a book, stare out the window, or just sit in silence. And in those moments, your mind heals. It organizes chaos. It resets. It finds direction. The world calls it doing nothing, but in truth, it's everything. You're regenerating energy that others lose chasing meaningless noise. It's not that these people hate people. They just value energy. They understand that not every conversation feeds the soul, not every crowd is a community, and not every noise is music. They're selective, not because they think they're better, but because they know what drains them. They prefer meaningful talk over small talk, purpose over popularity, and connection over attention. When they meet the right person, they open up completely. But until then, they guard their peace like treasure. Many of them are creators, writers, thinkers, artists, dreamers. The solitude they enjoy isn't isolation, it's imagination. They use quiet as fuel. Their ideas are born in silence. Their visions take shape in the stillness of their rooms. Great minds throughout history often loved solitude, because solitude gives birth to clarity, and clarity leads to creation. When you stop running after the world, you start seeing it differently. You start shaping it instead of chasing it. But there's a hidden side too. People who love staying at home often feel misunderstood. Society tells them they should be more social, more active, more involved. They're told to get out more, as if peace were a disease. But deep down, they know they're not missing out. They're simply choosing differently. The world celebrates noise because noise is easy to sell. But quiet is sacred. And those who choose it are often the ones who grow the most, silently, steadily, without applause. If you've ever felt guilty for wanting to stay home, remember this. You're not weird. You're aware. You're tuned in to something real. You know that happiness doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. You know that fulfillment isn't found in a crowd. It's found in your corner of the world, where your thoughts breathe and your soul rests. You're not escaping life. You're embracing it differently. Slower, deeper, wiser. And that's a kind of strength most people never learn. The psychology behind this goes deeper than people think. Those who enjoy staying home often have what psychologists call high self-congruence. It means their inner world and outer actions are aligned. They don't live to impress. They live to express. Their choices mirror their true values. They don't chase validation because they've already built self-acceptance. That's why they don't need the crowd's approval to feel worthy. Their worth comes from within. These people are often more introspective. They analyze emotions, not just their own but others. They understand feelings like an artist studies color, every shade, every nuance. They notice the tone in someone's voice, the silence between words, the energy in a room. And because they feel deeply, they protect their peace fiercely. They know the cost of letting chaos in. They'd rather sit alone than sit in fake company. That's not arrogance, that's emotional intelligence. Staying at home also nurtures creativity and discipline. When you're not distracted by constant social stimulation, your mind focuses better. You start seeing patterns, making plans, setting goals. You find beauty in routine. You learn to cook your meals, organize your space, care for your environment, because home becomes an extension of your mind. A calm home reflects a calm soul. And when your space feels peaceful, your life follows. People who love staying home often end up improving themselves quietly, reading, learning, growing, without needing to post about it. But here's the twist. Solitude isn't about rejecting the world. It's about preparing to re-enter it stronger. The man who spends time alone becomes powerful in silence, so he can walk with confidence in noise. He learns to listen before he speaks, to observe before he reacts, to think before he acts. He becomes grounded. When life throws chaos, he doesn't crumble, because he's built a home inside his mind, a place no storm can touch. The psychology of such a person isn't built on fear of people, but mastery of self. In today's culture, everything screams for attention, every app, every post, every voice fighting to be heard. But the man who enjoys staying home is immune to that noise. He doesn't need to prove himself through endless comparison. He finds joy in the unseen, the smell of morning coffee, the sound of pages turning, the comfort of his own rhythm. His happiness isn't loud, but it's stable. And that's the kind of happiness that lasts. He's not hiding from the world. He's building himself for it. Every quiet morning, every silent evening, he's sharpening his mind, aligning his emotions, understanding his path. When he finally steps out, he moves differently, calm, confident, collected. Because solitude has taught him what noise can't, that power doesn't come from being seen, it comes from being centered. That's why people who love staying home often feel lighter, more self-assured. They've stopped running from stillness. There's also a healing nature in solitude. Modern psychology calls it self-regulation. It's the ability to recharge your emotional battery. When you're always around people, your mind burns energy managing impressions, emotions, and expectations. But when you're alone, you rest from that invisible labor. You breathe, you stop performing, you start being. That's why introverted or solitude-loving people often look calmer. They've learned the art of managing their energy wisely. Of course, balance matters. Too much isolation can turn into escape. But when solitude is chosen, not forced, it becomes sacred. It becomes a mirror that shows you who you are when no one's watching. It reminds you that peace isn't a destination, it's a skill, and those who master it can walk through any chaos without losing themselves. People who enjoy staying home aren't lazy, they're mindful. They understand that slowing down isn't weakness, it's wisdom. So the next time someone says, "You're always home," smile. Because home isn't just a place, it's your sanctuary, it's your training ground, it's where you rebuild, realign, and return stronger. You're not missing out on life, you're just living it from the inside out. While others search the world for peace, you're building yours right where you stand. That's power, quiet, grounded, real power. In the end, the psychology of people who enjoy staying at home is about connection, not with the outside world, but with the inner one. It's about learning to love your own company, to trust your own thoughts, to build a life that doesn't depend on constant noise. It's about finding beauty in stillness, meaning in moments, and joy in simplicity. It's the kind of strength that doesn't shout, but it never fades. So if you're one of those people who feels most alive in the calm of your own space, don't ever apologize for it. You're not behind. You're just walking a quieter path. You're not missing anything. You're mastering something most never will, yourself. Because at the end of the day, the loudest peace is the one found in silence. And the most powerful man isn't the one who controls others. It's the one who's mastered being alone and is completely at home in his own soul. There comes a time in every man's life when he realizes that peace cannot be found in the noise of the world. You can chase every dream, collect every title, win every argument, and still feel something missing when the lights go off and the world goes quiet. That's when it hits you. Real strength is not about how loud you can be in a crowd, it's about how calm you can be in silence. The man who enjoys staying at home understands this truth early. He knows that home isn't where you hide from the world, it's where you prepare for it. It's where you face yourself, without masks, without roles, without pretending. It's where you meet your real self. And that's the hardest meeting of all. In a world that constantly tells you to get out there, to be more social, more visible, more connected, choosing to stay home takes courage. Because when you stay home, you're not just avoiding noise, you're choosing depth over distraction. You're saying no to the constant pull of validation, no to the endless need to be seen, and yes to the quiet work of becoming someone stronger, wiser, more grounded. The world praises those who shout the loudest, but the man who stays home knows that true power doesn't shout, it whispers. It's quiet confidence, it's calm self-respect, it's peace that doesn't need applause. Every man who learns to love his own company becomes dangerous, not in a violent way, but in a powerful way. Because once you stop needing the world to make you feel whole, nothing can control you. You stop chasing attention. You stop begging for acceptance. You stop bending yourself to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You realize that peace is not given, it's built. And the walls of that peace are made of solitude, patience, and self-awareness. The man who enjoys staying home has already started building that fortress. Every moment of silence, every cup of coffee in the stillness of morning, every late-night thought under a dim lamp, it all becomes part of his inner strength. People might not understand it. They might think you're missing out. They'll say you're too quiet, too reserved, too distant. But they don't see what's happening inside you. They don't see the clarity forming, the discipline growing, the mind sharpening,